Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 20 of Spy Family. So if you haven't seen the update video explaining, just a quick heads up, we now have 8 slots on the channel. We have 8 slotted shows that we are going to be getting to on the mostly regular. Because lately I've been feeling really good about doing recordings. I've been getting to things pretty easily. So we should be good. If I ever need to take a step back and cut something out again, we can. It's not that big a deal. But for right now, I think we can add an 8th slot and be perfectly fine. So, Spy Family. It's been a bit. It's been almost a year. We put Spy Family on hold back in December. I did not intend for the break to be this long. It just kind of happened. Just other things kept coming out or coming to my attention, and I just never got back to it. But I ended up asking someone to randomly choose between 2 options. Again, more details in the update video. And this was chosen. And it's a very good thing because we don't have too many more episodes to go. And there is something coming out at the end of August that I am very excited to get to. Another reason for adding in the 8th slot. But, again, all the details on that in the other video. Let's talk about Spy Family. So, where we left off, there was the episode about that kid. The one kid at the school who was he being made fun of? Or something? He was gonna, something was going on with, the way others were seeing him or how his family was perceived or something. But in the end, he was gonna be, leaving. And so Anya and Damien and all the others ended up, doing this, impromptu outside concert thing for him, and then I think he ends up actually staying anyways. It was I think it was something having to do with his family business and him misunderstanding something his father said. It was actually a really sweet, cute episode. So yeah, it was kind of mostly standalone. But I recently began getting into this series again because my sister and I started watching it, as well as Blind Wave recently started putting out their reactions to it. So I'm kind of getting into it again, so I'm ready to bring it back. The one big thing that I feel like we haven't gotten much of in this season, that hopefully we get more of in the movie and then season 2, is I feel like this series doesn't go enough into Yor's job. We see Lloyd as Agent Twilight and everything all the time, pretty much constantly. Just as much focus on that as with Anya in the school, because obviously they're very connected with Operation Strix and all. But Yor's job as an assassin, I don't think was really shown after her initial debut. It's mentioned, it's brought up plenty, even just through her thoughts when Anya's reading her mind and all. She thinks about it all the time. But we never actually see her do anything more with that, which I guess is probably a good thing, all things considered, because it means that, her boss is not needing anyone else to be, assassinated. So I guess that's a good thing, but at the same time, you kind of want to see more gone into with that. Even if it's just through flashbacks and stuff. The fact is, she's an assassin, and all we ever see of her is just the house mother stuff. And it's a little disappointing, if I'm being honest. There's also Yuri, who, if you remember, I just can't stand. But at least it gives something else with Yor than just the regular stuff. It's just, I just don't like him. But yeah, it's like I just want more with her job to be shown as well. It's just I understand it wouldn't be as consistent and everything as Lloyd's, but you know, nonetheless. Either way, I'm excited to jump back into this. We have like what 5 6 episodes left to go. So hopefully this ends up being a really good last few episodes. Um, I don't know exactly what to expect going into this. Um, I don't know what this is going to entail. I am still pretty much spoiler free somehow on these last episodes. Pretty much all that I ever hear people talking about are from the earlier episodes at this point, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Guess we'll see. That being said, let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I had forgotten that this series started doing like segmented episodes of sorts, because the first so many episodes are not like that. They're just full things, really, with a couple different things maybe going on, but they don't have like segments with their own like specific titles. It's not like other shows like Amphibia or whatnot, where it like actually goes to a separate title card, but still, it's just kind of needless, I feel. It's like, just stretch out the episodes. Because most of this episode centered around Anya doing this social studies report to learn about a job that she's interested in. She ends up going with Lloyd to the hospital and taking not the best notes and figuring out not the best stuff about it, but hey, she finds a secret passage and doesn't get caught, which is kind of surprising. It's a really fun concept, and I feel like it didn't need to be shared with that ending bit. It's like the secret code thing just felt tacked on. It felt completely tacked on and needless, and I think part of that is because it was only a couple minutes long too, compared to how, again, like, vast majority of the episode was focused on the bigger stuff, the hospital stuff. So it made it feel even less important. It made it feel like it was just randomly thrown in for no reason. And because of that, it was a little distracting. Because again, the entire stuff with checking out the hospital and learning stuff there was interesting enough. They could have easily just done the full episode on that. Even if you want to say like, oh, maybe they thought there wasn't enough content to stretch out into a full episode. It's like, there were literally only a couple minutes left. They could have easily just stretched it out. They chose not to. It just felt needless to add that last bit in. It just didn't fit with the rest of the episode, and it just kind of it just felt unnecessary. But the stuff, again, with the hospital, with her following that, was pretty interesting. Also, getting a look into Lloyd's cover job, which this is the first time it's really touching on. Like, it mentions his job as a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever the fuck. It mentions that multiple times in the series, but we've never gotten details on it. Like, I was believing that this was literally just a cover in the idea that he wasn't actually doing it at all. That it was literally just basically word of mouth and obviously his connections that were making people believe it was the case. But in reality, he was just going out doing other spy stuff, because we know he had been tasked with other spy stuff during this entire time. So I was thinking that's all he was doing. Instead, we get the fact that he actually has been doing this. And like I said in the reaction, it's very believable that he could, as a spy, and especially with as good as he is, he very much can read people and understand how to work with them in a legitimate way. Like, he's probably not actually licensed, but he's basically as good as if he were. So he can handle it pretty well. Like, he almost doesn't really need to be licensed in a way. I'm sorry. There's someone was doing something weird out there with their car. It's fine. But yeah, it's almost like he doesn't need to be licensed, and that's really interesting just to see that. Even though we didn't actually get to see it in action, we got to see at least like one of the methods that he uses, not the concussive method, but you know. So it's fun to learn that. Also, Yor's entire little daydream about, like, what would happen if she brought Anya to her actual job. Like I said in the reaction, that's not what I meant in the pre-thoughts when I said I wanted to see more of her job. That's literally just an imagination thing. I want to actually see her doing her actual job. Because we've seen literally nothing about that since her introduction. It's been mentioned, it's been brought up, but it's never been actually shown that she's actually doing it. And again, you could kind of look at that as a good thing, that her employers don't need her to kill anyone else at the moment. Like, that's nice. But it kind of makes her feel like less important than Lloyd and Anya. Both of them have their secrets, let's put it that way, utilized all the time. Anya uses her mind reading powers pretty constantly. And again, Lloyd is shown doing his spy stuff all the time. I understand that as an assassin, she wouldn't need to be as active as someone like a spy, or just, you know, Anya just doing her normal stuff while using her power. I understand that, but it should have been at least shown a little bit more. And again, I don't really count this because this was all in her imagination. It was just a complete hypothetical that never actually happened and wouldn't. It was fun though for what it was. Like I said, I enjoyed the fact that the blood was censored, but only when coming out of the dude. While it's on their bodies, it's fine, I guess. But they censored it specifically coming out of the dude, and they censored what she was saying. While also the subtitles were also censored in that regard, which is just like, whoever did the subtitles on this went above and beyond with that. I love that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun to this episode. Anya, like, getting stuck up there and making the people below her think she's a ghost, and so they start taking their patients more seriously. It's like, that's funny. There's a lot of good, fun stuff. I just feel like the little ending bit just wasn't necessary at all. It kind of ruined the flow of the episode. To just, in the last couple minutes, introduce another storyline that's literally just Anya sees a code used on her spy show, decides to try out using a code herself, and Frankie mistakes it for a love letter. It was the most needless, pointless, and just uninteresting little plot thing you could do. It's like, it didn't amount to anything either, because Anya just didn't wake up in time. And so Frankie just stood there, I assume, waiting until he just eventually gave up. There was no conclusiveness to it. There was nothing. It was pointless. it would have just been better to just to elongate the stuff at the hospital. And there's so many ways they could have done that. There's also the woman who came to like meet with him, like from Wise and everything. I think that's the woman who's shown in the opening. There's a woman who's shown like I think like once or twice briefly in the opening, who we haven't met yet, and I think that's her. Um, at least it looked like she had the right hair for that. So I'm curious about who she is and if she's gonna be more relevant in upcoming episodes. Either way, I did still enjoy this. It's good to get back to this series. It's good to get to the new stuff I haven't seen yet, especially. Um, I did enjoy this despite some issues I had. Not really due to most of the content of the episode, but just the way it was paced and set up. But either way, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Spy Family? And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Excited to be back with this, and we should hopefully be done with this by the time the live action One Piece comes out, so we can start reacting to that right away. So, thank you so much once again, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.